In the back waves, you see we saw tuna this morning, GTs, some garrick. So it's just all that excitement around it gets the juices flowing, and us as anglers love this time of the year. Alright, well, we just got down to the beach here, Scopra, and the sardines are everywhere. This whole bay is full of sardines. So we're quickly making a little game plan here. I think I'm going to take the cast in and see if I can get us some fresh bait, and we'll go from there. I decided to carry the cast net with me. I like to catch some sardines with a cast net. They're not squashed, they're nice and fresh and lively. So I was lucky enough this morning to find the area where the sardines got pushed in quite close. Got one net into them, ended up with 10 or 12 dozen of sardines. So we had fresh bait and everything was set for us to get a bite. Hey, we got some bait! Right, so obviously when we come for these big sharks, I fish with my biggest setup that I have. I'm happy with a 10 slammer 8500 loaded with 80-pound whiplash, and then also 200-pound whiplash leader. And obviously then on that, the beast, the Medusa, so fishing with a 150 and 200-pound steel trace, and I had a 10-0 fusion hook on it. So I had everything ready to hook a big fish, and when I hooked it, it was just a question of setting your drag correct. It's tight drag, making sure nothing breaks, and then the most important of all in the sardine run is to stay away from other anglers and hope and pray that something doesn't swim into your line and cut you off. Oh, here we go. Something feeding. That's him. Well guys, this is what this whole sardine run is about. Hooking these giant monster sharks, and it's full drag here. I can't stand up. If I stand up now, I'm going to the water and trying to turn them before something goes wrong. This Medusa's working overtime. Okay, thanks. There's so much stuff happening here. Sharks everywhere. Fishing the surf, so anything can go wrong. If something swims to your line, it's gone. Full concentration. Fun and games. Lucky I'm super fit. Well, I think I've been on for about an hour and a bit now, and these fish are so strong. It's obviously a decent sized shark. My biggest fear now is not actually managing to land the fish, it's managing to get through all these sardines. There's literally tons and tons of sards right here in front of us and at the back, and my line's cutting through them the whole time. So anything that swims through there, it's game over. So it's a bit of praying here that we get lucky and get them through the sards and get into the shore break. Alright, so it's been an hour and a half, and I think I've managed to get the fish into the trough in front of us. So now it's that final bit of labour. It's a bad shore dump here. I'm glad I'm not grabbing this fish, but there are some capable hands here. So it's going to be fun and games. Well, John came down with me this morning, and lucky for him, he landed a nice big blackfin. After he released his blackfin, he came and gave me a hand, and I'm very happy for John and Nick and the guys to help me land this fish in this big shore dump we had, because it's a heavy, bulky fish, and without their help I would never been able to land this fish. Well, for me it was a nice achievement. It's my personal best grey shark, 241 centimeters, 3/4 length. Very happy with it. It's a personal best, a very, very strong fish, and just happy to land it and release it back safely. Well, this isn't for the unfit people, I promise you. That's a nice fish. How big was it, John? 241 centimeter grey shark. I guess about 230, 240 kilos. So I'm happy. Right, so we woke up this morning and we decided to take a drive down the coast from Onkamas where I live, and we popped in at Pennington Ski Boat Club, and as we got there the guys were getting ready to put a net in the water. There was a pocket of salt just off the right of the bay there, and even though we're not involved in the netting, it's still fun for us to watch a guy's net. The guys are all like shouting, screaming, and it's action everywhere. So when it comes to the netting, basically what happens is you've got guys that spot the sardines, so they'll see the shoal out there, they'll drop the boat in the water. Normally on the boat you'll have a skipper plus 2 or 3 guys. The boat will run out, position himself, then one guy will jump off the one end of the net with a big stick, obviously there's a rope attached, and the boat will circle around that shoal, and the other guy will jump off the other end of the net, and the boat will shoot down to back to the beach, and from there the guys on the beach will take the ropes and start pulling in the net. On the beach you'll have a guy with a whistle, and they all got different codes. So the whistle basically means that guys on the left must pull the rope, or the guys on the right must give it a rope, and the 2 guys out at sea control the net. So the whole idea is to get that net coming in evenly, keep the pocket closed so you don't want to open the net and the sardines will come out. That is a perfect scenario if it all works out like that, but there's so many things that can go wrong. There's currents out there, there's reef out there, the waves can barrel the net. So it's very difficult for these guys, and it's always nice to see them actually succeed and get their sardines. Unfortunately the guys didn't get a big full net, but they ended up with a few crates of sardines, which is still good enough. And while we were standing on the beach, a friend of ours phoned us and told us there's quite a lot of action in Sazela. The guys are netting and there's a few sharks around. So we packed our gear and we moved down to Sazela to go look for a nice shark. Well, when we arrived at Sazela, there was absolute chaos. People, boats, nets on the beach with guys, some still pulling, others emptying the nets. So it was a very, very busy situation. And our game plan was to get some swords. So we bought some swords from the guys, and then just walk a little bit out of the crowd, put a bait out there and see if we can hook a shark. We noticed that there was quite a lot of sharks in the trough between the shoal on the back line and the beach. So it's quite easy if you see the sharks and you pitch a bait at them, generally you might get a bite. So I built a nice bait that's nice and aerodynamic, got it into the right zone, and I think it was 2 minutes and I had the bite and was on with the fish.
There's more to our story.
Just for spot on the beach, and in a lot of side action, a lot of anglers and a lot of sharks. You know what you like? Go under. Well, when you fish in a big crowd like that, there's a lot of different anglers. You've got from your top anglers that know exactly what they're doing, to a lot of guys just quite new at angling and excited. So you really got to be very patient. You obviously don't want to get angry at anybody because we're all just loving the sport and getting excited about it. So the main thing to do is just stay focused, watch your line, watch people around use lines. When you're over under someone, sort of just try and unknit the line quickly because it's very easy to get cut off by other people. So that is your biggest struggle, is just to keep your line clear of other anglers. And as soon as your line's clear of other anglers, the job is basically just to get the shark in, get it to the beach and land it. Alright, well, I've got out of the most, or the biggest crowd, I'd say. And we're landing the fish. We got reef to the left, so we want to force the fish a bit, yeah? Get him in the bay. So we'll duck some lines on that side. Well, the beach we were fishing, we had quite a steep beach running down to the bottom. The tide was busy pushing and there was a big shore dump. So we got the fish to the shoreline quite easily, but it was that last 2 meters where the water was sucking back constantly. The fish was just lying in that deeper water. I'd pull him up the beach and he'd suck back again. It was quite a struggle getting the fish in the right area to land him. Normally when we grab sharks, I personally don't like using ropes, but in this specific situation there was a friend of ours there with a rope. There wasn't too many guys who could help because everybody else is busy fighting fish. So he quickly roped the tail of the shark, and the purpose of that was basically just to hold the shark so the water doesn't wash it up and down. So it actually helped us a lot in this situation while we were taking out the hooks. Alright guys, so we landed that shark now, at 130 odd kilos. Actually a nice smaller one to catch in this crowd. Must be 10 guys on.
The nice thing is the guys aren't losing too much fish here today, which is very nice to see. Fish are a bit smaller, we're managing to land them, so this is just a patience game, going under, over, untying knots, but all part of the sardine run.
It just shows using the right tackle can help with these monsters. Again, I'm on my Saltus 8 to 12 and the dogfight's LD60. Just trying to get the fish over the bank. Once he's over the bank, then he's home. Get him in, take a measurement, 2 pictures, and safe return back home.
Something I wanted to say right through the sardine run is we saw a lot of fish being lost, and I think what Rourke's been doing the last couple of weeks is a good example for everybody. Picking a spot where you'll stand a good chance to land a fish, plus kitting it up right. He's using the LD60 dogfight, Daiwa, extra heavy rod, and it's got 100 pound, the last 300 meters 100 pound on there. So when you get into that 300 meter mark, you can really pull that fish. But more importantly is selecting an area like this. Look, the bank's terrible in the back, but there's no reef that can cut you off, nothing. The size of the sharks the guys have been hooking, you've already got all the elements against you. So make good, responsible selections on where you're gonna fish, hook that fish, and you've got a good chance of landing it. That fish will not swim around with a whole bunch of braid behind it.
Lost for words right now. right tackle. End of story. Dawa dog fights, LD60. Mustad 16-0, Demon.